Could the Dallas Mavericks trade wing Dorian Finney-Smith before the NBA trade deadline on February 9th? That's the topic of today's show. I'm your host, Harrison Graham, and welcome into Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. Shams Charania dropping some big trade buzz earlier today. DFS and the Mavs, a big part of that article. We'll break that down and kind of explore some trade options later on in the show. But hey, listen, you got to ride or die with your squad, right? If you love the Dallas Mavericks, then like this video. Let's set a record here on Mavericks Today by hitting that like button. And hey, if you want the Mavs to make a trade, another reason to like the show, hit that like button here on Mavericks Today. Okay, let's get into this here. Shams dropping a huge trade article today, and there was a big discussion around Dorian Finney-Smith. He says the Jazz are expressing strong interest in Mavericks forward Dorian Finney-Smith. His teams have gotten the impression that Dallas would be open to moving the 29-year-old in the right deal for a star caliber player, sources say. The Mavericks have an incredibly high price threshold for teams reaching out about Finney-Smith, rival executives say. In 7 seasons with the Mavs, Finney-Smith has established himself as a critical two-way wing, well-liked teammate, and important for the team's culture, including being a favorite of MVP candidate Luka Doncic. But it's clear that Finney-Smith has also become one of Dallas's main pieces if the organization is to pull off a blockbuster deal for an all-star player ahead of the deadline or in the offseason. Look, like Shams says, Dorian Finney-Smith is beloved in Dallas by his teammates, by the organization, by the fan base. But I think that last part of that quote is critical. For those of you out there who want the Mavs to try and make a big trade, Dorian Finney-Smith is probably your best tradable asset. He really is. He's an excellent defender who can guard 4 positions, sometimes 5. He's not shooting the ball incredible this year, but he's been a really good three-point shooter the past couple of years as well. He was a clutch player in the playoffs last year. Dorian Finney-Smith is an excellent role player. Like I would put him in the really good starter, star role player category. Like he's not a star, but he's a star role player, if that makes sense. Like I said, the prior 3 seasons, he shot the ball even better from three-point range. So, you know, a team getting him is going to get around 10 points per game, 37 to 40% from 3, and just excellent defensive play and just really credibility as well. I mean, this is a guy that was undrafted, kind of earned it the hard way. The Mavs, you know, kept giving him opportunities. He kept taking advantage, and he kept improving year after year after year, which is why he was able to get a nice little contract a year ago. Now, here's what I would say. I have got to clearly upgrade if I'm trading Dorian Finney-Smith. I guess you could go one or two ways. One, you got to be upgrading with a number 2 caliber player next to Luka Doncic. So you trade Finney-Smith picks and, you know, salary filler for some kind of Robin to Luka. I don't know who that is, but that's what you would have to do. Number 2, I don't think they'd go this route. If some team's offering you 2 first-round picks for Finney-Smith, do you kind of take a 1-year rebuild here and kind of say, hey, if we make the playoffs this year with Luka and, you know, the Misfits, great, but we don't think we can win a title this year, but we have assets in the offseason. You could go that route. I don't think they'll do that, but that would be the only 2 scenarios I think that I would consider for Dorian Finney-Smith. Now, would you trade DFS for a star player? Type T for trade or P for pass. I think I'd have to really consider it, but let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. T for trade or P for pass if you're getting a star player like an all-star caliber talent in a trade. Now, some reasons to keep Dorian Finney-Smith. Number 1, he's your best defender. He can guard multiple positions, like I said. He's long. He's athletic. He's technically sound. He can play heavy minutes. We saw him playing 35, 40 minutes a game in the playoffs last year and really didn't slow down until late in the Western Conference Finals. Good three-point shooter, affordable contract. I think he's $14 million per year, and he's become a leader. He's kind of a silent assassin, but he is very much a leader on that locker room. When he talks, you listen. So there's certainly – this is not a guy you just give away is kind of the point I'm making. But he's got value, and if you can upgrade, I think you've got to consider that if you are the Dallas Mavericks. Now, more on this here in a few moments, but I do want to shout out our sponsor, and that is Rocket Money. Get started at rocketmoney.com/NBA now. This app is going to help you save money here in the year of 2023 because, answer this question for me, are you wasting money on subscriptions? You probably are. 80% of people have subscriptions that they have forgotten about. Maybe for you, it's an unused Amazon Prime account or a Hulu account that never gets streamed. There's this great app that I use to keep track of all my expenses. It's called Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill. This app will show you all your subscriptions in one place and then cancel for you whatever you don't still want. Rocket Money can even find subscriptions you didn't know that you were paying for. You might even find out you've been double charged for a subscription. To cancel a subscription, all you got to do is press cancel. Rocket Money takes care of the rest. I've already had multiple subscriptions canceled since I got going with Rocket Money about 6 weeks ago. My Xbox Live account, which I hadn't used in a couple years, hit cancel on that. Boom, no longer getting charged. And I also had a golf streaming app that I totally forgot about. I probably tried a free trial like a year ago, and I was about to get charged for $100 for the next year. Avoided that with Rocket Money. RocketMoney.com/NBA now. You can create budgets. You can monitor your overall finances. Really user-friendly app. Go check it out. Link is in the description and in the comments section. Now, the reasons to trade DFS, which is what we've alluded to, is his value's high. I mean, he's on a team-friendly deal, first year of a 4-year deal. You have a really good role player for multiple years if you're another team. Mavs need a second star. Got to upgrade. Dorian Finney-Smith is never going to be a number 2 on a title team. Probably not a number 3. He's probably more of a number 4, kind of that defensive lockdown assassin for a title team. Good contract and accumulating the injury list as well. You look at the Mavs roster, and we've talked about this a lot. It just doesn't fit, right? Like, it just hasn't come together. Like, Spencer Dinwiddie's been great. I mean, hell, have you seen what he's been doing without Luka? 36 and 35 points the past couple of games. But ideally, he'd be your sixth man. Well, that's why losing Jalen Brunson killed you, because your bench all of a sudden is taking a big hit. If you could get Dorian Finney-Smith, a couple of picks, and another salary filler like a Bertans or a Dwight Powell, for a number 2, who is that? I mean, is OG Anunoby a number 2? I mean, he's been a big trade question. At the end of the day, you're only doing this if you can get another star, but I just don't know who that is. Like, you're not getting a Paul George. That's not enough to get him, and the Clippers aren't moving him. Who's that player? Like, we saw C.J. McCollum get moved last year. Like, can you get a player of that caliber? He didn't play any defense, but, a guy that can come in and get 25. Can you get DeMar DeRozan with the trade like this? Zach LaVine? I don't know. So that's what you got to do. I think that's probably why this is getting leaked out there. The Mavericks probably want to see what offers are at their disposal for a trade centered around Dorian Finney-Smith. We'll have to wait and see what happens. You look at the trade assets for Dallas when it comes to players. I do think DFS is number 1. Christian Wood's a clear number 2. Reggie Bullock, it's nice that he's starting to play better, because if you throw him in a trade, that actually could get you at least something back, even if it's just a draft pick or something. Tim Hardaway Jr., I don't know what you're getting for him. He's got 2 more years on his deal for about $40 million. Jaden Hardy, young player, second-round pick. He's flashed ability to score. I don't think you're getting a first for him, but that's kind of what you're looking at on the player side. Now, should the Mavs make a move before the deadline? I think the answer is an overwhelming yes. Type Y for yes. Type N for no. Let me know what you guys think. I'll show you guys a trade idea in a second, but this is the time to subscribe. We're going to do as many videos as possible between now and the trade deadline, so turn on those notifications after you hit that subscribe button. Stay informed with everything that the Dallas Mavericks are doing. It's youtube.com/MavsTV. We've got you covered here on Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. Now, Shams mentioned the Jazz as a team that has shown interest, so let's explore what a trade could look like. Because my first thought is, okay, if I'm trading DFS, it's either rebuild mode or mini rebuild, because you still have Luka. You don't go full rebuild, but you guys know what I'm saying. Rebuild until the offseason, get some assets. Or it's what we've been talking about, it's trying to get a star. Well, do the Jazz really have a star that you want? Colin Sexton, Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt, Jordan Clarkson, Mike Conley. They have Lauri Markkanen. I'd be shocked if he got traded with how well he's playing this year. But I look at this and I'm like, okay, they have some interesting players. I like Sexton. I like Vanderbilt. Clarkson's a really good sixth man. He could help here. Conley as a backup point is solid. But Finney-Smith to get are you upgrading? This is the trade we threw together, me and producer Coop. Colin Sexton, Jared Vanderbilt, Leo Balmero for Finney-Smith and Bertans. I don't know if I'm doing that trade, man. I like Vanderbilt. I like Colin Sexton. He would fill that role of being that third guard for this team, but I don't know. Your defense which has already struggled a decent amount as of late, gets worse in this scenario. I just don't think this is the type of move that gets you better. Now, maybe the Jazz are a part of a 3-team trade where they get Finney-Smith, but the Mavericks land a number 2, number 3 type from a different team. That's possible, but I don't know if a heads-up trade with Utah really makes sense just to dump Dorian Finney-Smith, who's on a really team-friendly contract. But I don't know. I don't think it makes sense. I don't think the Jazz would necessarily do this. So we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening between these two teams. All right, here's the trade idea again with the question. Would you do the trade? Type A for accept or D for decline. I would probably hold off. Producer Coop was trying to talk me into it, but I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to hold off here. A for accept, D for decline. Let us know what you guys think. All right, that's going to do it for Dallas Mavericks today. Again, we will have more coverage leading up to the trade deadline. It's youtube.com/MavsTV. Hit that sub button, and we'll see you next time here on the channel.